Our former president and Prime Minister Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson's body is now in Tobago. It was flown to the Sister Isle early this afternoon after the ecumenical service held at the National Academy of the Performing Arts in Port of Spain. The day-long tribute here in Trinidad began early this morning from Tragarete Road, where citizens, young and old, lined the streets to bid farewell to the late statesman. Sherilyn Lewis begins our CNews coverage of the state funeral. She followed the cortege and filed this report.
The third day of the five-day state funeral began with a military cortege. Law enforcement officials from the police, fire, coast guard and prison service escorted the late former president and prime minister from as early as 6:30 a.m. from the funeral home of Clark and Batu on Tragarete Road, Port of Spain. The coffin draped with the national flag was lifted and carried in a slow march by law enforcement officials and mounted on a 50-year-old gun carriage. Behind the gun carriage were mounted police officers. The military cortege in slow procession traveled from Tragarete Road south along St. Vincent Street, east along Independence Square, north along Abercrombie Street, and Knox Street onto Frederick Street. As the military cortege proceeded along Frederick Street en route to the National Academy for the Performing Arts for a state ecumenical service, students lined the street and curious onlookers stopped in their tracks to witness the funeral cortege of the country's third president and prime minister, Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson. The cortege's arrival at the National Academy for the Performing Arts signaled the start of the next stage, the ecumenical state service. Some members of the public chose to sit and take in the service on the big screens, while others lined the streets. One woman who came to pay her respects says she remembered the late president for his strength and courage.
The day of the crew, and when we stood up. I mean, and as a man, as Prime Minister and President of Trinidad and Tobago, had make history. You know what I mean? That no other Prime Minister have done that. At least we didn't get nothing like that as yet. So we thank. Come to pay our last respect to him.
Another ecumenical service will take place on Saturday at the Dwight York Stadium in Tobago, following a full day of public viewing on Friday. Mr. Robinson will be interred after a private family service on Saturday. Sherilyn Lewis, CNews.